Hello, everybody, and welcome. We made it to Friday, and welcome to Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a Steeler hating cow, and I will be with you during the course of the hour to walk you through all the intricacies of this weekend's Browns football game. I'm doing a new thing now where and there's a reason why, and I'll get to it in just a minute, why I am telling people, hey, if you happen to live in these areas, you can watch the Cleveland Browns. You can just turn on your television, basically, and you will get the game. And it's not that wide an imprint today. If you live in Ohio, and you live in Columbus, Dayton, Toledo, Cleveland, or Charleston, West Virginia, God help your soul, you'll get the game. But you won't get it if you're in Cincinnati. You'll only get syphilis if you're in Cincinnati. All right. Also, if you're out in Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, or the middle of the fucking desert in Arizona, you'll get the game. Those are the only two places where you're going to be able to get the Browns Cardinals game. So you can enjoy it as you will. We have the amazing Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta that we have to put up with again as the commentators. And when I say common, I accent common. Here's what I want to talk about first, and then I'll get on to sports. I just saw the video of Now and Then, the Beatles compiled video for the song that they have, the demo, the John Lennon demo that they did. A lot of you have already heard that, and you've probably seen the video. If you haven't, I'd urge you to do it. It about killed me. I mean, really. It's just so hard when you're my age and you remember them so vividly to know that there are only two of them left living. And it was a very emotional watch for me. And I would recommend go check out the video. The song isn't going to set any buildings on fire, folks. I mean, it's just a damn demo that Lennon in 1978 recorded into a tape recorder. But the video really hit home for me. All right. The reason I'm giving you information about where you can watch the football game is because of the idiots at Bally Sports. And I know it has nothing to do with the Browns, but the Bally Sports app has suffered its third outage in 4 days. And the outage is that they've been outed as being incompetent. You knew them under another name, Sinclair Broadcasting. That's who owns Bally Sports Ohio, Bally Sports Great Lakes. Bally Sports is fucking your mother in the ass. Bally Sports, Detroit, Bally Sports, whatever. They are maniacal right-wing MAGA idiots. They are so behind the times. They're Cro-Magnon. In their political thoughts, they're Cro-Magnon. In what they supported with their money politically, disgusting. But the business that they're in, okay, we'll start doing Godfather 2. It's the business that we're in. All right. Technology, man. How in the world could Sinclair Broadcasting, besides the fact that they're absolute radical right-wing idiots, mongoloid idiots at that, they were the ones who brought you the Home Shopping Network, if you're not aware. All right. That's how they started out. In UHF, remember UHF television? Remember the movie with Weird Al Yankovic? Yeah. UHF, that's where you had to have the rabbit ears on your TV. I know. If you're really young, you don't remember that shit. But I do. Channel 67, WOAC in Canton, Ohio, was owned by Sinclair. All right. So I've known the company for some time. And they have fucked everybody over. They charge money. They got people to sign up, charge money. And now the third outage in 4 days. The damn app has never worked correctly. If you're a Cavaliers fan, you're screwed in the ass. And, and complaining about it doesn't help because they're right-wing MAGA people and they don't know how to listen. All right. So, I guess the way that I look at it is you should know where the game's being played because you have a choice as to how you view it. And I know that it's not easy to get around the whole Bally Sports thing with the Cavaliers. But the way they're charging for these events and bleeding fans, at least the fucking thing should work, don't you think? And I'm not suggesting that you break the law. Wait, I got something in my eye. I'm sorry. It's just a ridiculous situation. And this story comes from awful announcing. I think that says it all. People are saying, Mr. Moohead, why are you calling yourself a Steeler-hating cow today? Well, because I watched the game yesterday. That's why. Not because Pittsburgh won. Don't get me wrong. Team wins. And believe me, the Titans are, and the new quarterback flavor of the day is Levis. And he's going to be the next great quarterback for the next 10 years. It's like, maybe not. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how many hits he can take. Let's see how long he can play for a losing organization. I don't know. How long can he play under a moribund offensive scheme run by Vrabel, the whole team, a defensive-minded head coach? Well, we'll see. I hope the young kid does good. It would be nice. And it wasn't that he was bad. He wasn't bad yesterday. What was bad is having to watch the same fucking thing happen over and over again. The Pittsburgh Steelers intentionally injure people. And it got so bad. 5 penalties on the first possession. 5. In the first drive of the game, and they had the ball. 5. And a bunch of them were like late hits, face masks, twisting people's heads off, that kind of shit, Overall, they had 10 penalties for 80 yards. If they would have called all of the penalties of number 24 in the secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the game would still be going on. I swear to God. Somebody's got to do something about this because that organization is crippling people. And it got so bad, they took out their own linebacker, Holcomb. It wasn't the Titans. The Titans injured no Steelers. The Steelers were aiming low. 3 offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen, injured by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you can't tell me it's not intentional because they wanted to take that running game away to put all the weight on the young quarterback for the Titans. So they injured 3 starting offensive linemen. And if you didn't see how they did it, it's real simple. At the line of scrimmage, they dive right into the side of people's legs like Minka Fitzpatrick did. The one guy came out, and I thought for sure, because he got hit low. I mean, it's illegal what they're doing, but they're doing it so frequently that it's a strategy. Well, we'll accept the 100 yards or whatever in penalties. What the fuck? Because we'll get away with 10 more penalties. And Holcomb, standing close enough to a grenade, you'll get the shrapnel. Guy went right into his low leg. I saw it. You saw it. Everybody saw it. The Steelers injured their own starting linebacker. It's sickening. It sickens me so much that there is, it gets to a point where it's like you got the Steeler fans who are waving their towels whenever they injure players. You've got other people like me who are saying, fuck these people. And it's like the Jews and the Arabs. I mean, never going to end. The Steelers are going to keep injuring people for as long as they're allowed to. And if you injure them back, they will suddenly become the wounded party. They'll be the people who they're going to get stood up for by the NFL. They're going to be supported by the NFL. You took cheap shots at the Steelers. What I'm telling the Cleveland Browns is this. I know Deshaun Watson is going to play this weekend, and I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. But I guarantee you, between the two following games, between the Ravens and the Steelers, they're going to hurt him. He ain't going to make it through the gauntlet. I can tell you that. They will intentionally hurt him. And the league's all for it. The league's going to sit and watch him do it. And I'll be talking to you 3 weeks from now saying this whole thing. Repeating it. And it's too damn bad. It ruins the game. It's not even a human thing to do. And you just see, and when the guys commit the penalties, Tomlin's like, tacit approval. That's what he tells them to do before every game. Now, for all the people whose careers have been shortened by Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's been a lot of them, guys who have had countless concussions due to the Steelers, I think it's only fair that some bad things happen to them. I don't know how they're going to happen, but when they do, I'll be smiling. All right, enough of that. Team makes me sick. The whole approach makes me sick. Mike Tomlin called Cole Holcomb's injury a serious knee injury. Yeah, well, I mean, tell your guys not to go in low. From the side. Of course it's a serious knee injury. It's exactly what they did to Nick Chubb. The exact same thing. Cole Holcomb's got the same thing. They haven't announced what it is, but probably tore his ACL out. Probably. Because that's what the Steelers do. They meant to do it to the receiver, and instead, Holcomb happened to be in the neighborhood. It was like a drive-by ACL shooting. Oh, man. And it happened near DeAndre Hopkins. So you know that D-Hop was the target. Because that if they take away the running game, all right, and force everything on the young quarterback, then they have to get D-Hop out of the game too. That's the way it works. It's what they get away with all the time. And I can't stand them. I don't like football for this reason. I was looking at just the whole, 10 penalties for 80 yards. They just stopped calling penalties on them. It got to the point where that guy, number 24, the secondary, the rookie guy, he was just throwing Hopkins to the ground at will in the middle of patterns. They just, fuck it, let it happen. They're the Steelers. Let it happen. And until somebody enforces the rules in the league, these players should be thrown out. And I don't mean one or two of them. I mean like 8 of them. It's just pathetic. Totally pathetic. Finally, Kevin Stefanski says, yes, Deshaun Watson is going to play. And, I could, don't speak Gwen, but I if you want to know what he said, Gwen basically is excited about this game. He's got a little chubby because that's all the bigger it can get. You don't have the balls to do what's right. He's only got the conviction in himself. God only knows why. Watson was full participation. He threw the ball. Some of the balls came out of his hand poorly. Some of them came out okay. Keep asking a same question over and over, get a different answer every day. And this is incredible. How much do you have to adjust things so he doesn't take a big hit like that? I mean, it's inevitable he's going to take a shot at some point. And here's what Gwen Stefanski said. Deshaun's been playing this game for a long time. He understands how to protect himself. As you can imagine, our offense and our offensive line, you want to protect your quarterback, but you understand the game. Now back to the countdown. I mean, this guy talks in circles. It's like Topaz, my dog, chasing his tail. It's like, what the hell? It's all screwed up, man. He knows when to get out of bounds, when to slide, and those type of things. It doesn't matter with the Ravens and the Steelers. You could be out of bounds, and they'll take your ACL out and get away with it. They will. You'll slide. They'll hit you head first. They'll knock you out of the game with a concussion. They will. There's no way to protect yourself. Not in a league that isn't protecting players. How did he look throwing the ball from your perspective, Gwen? Good. What gives you the confidence that his shoulder is where it needs to be? The bones are still connected and it's right here. See? Just like mine. Did you think maybe giving him maybe one more week of rest, even though we look good and everything looked good on the surface? How much thought was given to maybe giving him one more Sunday off? And Gwen's response, yeah, I think like we've said all along, when he's ready to go, he'll be out there. Did he take all the first reps this week? He did, yes, sir. Well, this is a quote. He did, yes, sir. I shouldn't say that. Wednesday and Thursday, he was limited. This guy already has brain damage. He doesn't even remember. Is he better prepared to take a hit than he was against the Colts? The answer, yeah, I characterize it other than to say constant communication with medical and Deshaun on all of this. God, I can't get to my tail. You've got to spin, and then you just have, will it go around in circles? Yeah. God almighty. Will he have to wear a harness or anything? Well, he should, because he's just an animal, right? That's what the league thinks of him. Put a harness on him. Hey, why don't we just put a plow around him and let him be an oxen? God almighty. We have to wear protection. Yeah, he's going to have a condom on, just like when he was on the massage table. Well, I mean, how do you want somebody to answer this? Oh, my God. It's just awful. What kind of a boost do you think that his return could give to the rest of the guys? Well, when they see him prone on the ground, grabbing his shoulder again, not so much of a boost. When PJ is running back onto the field, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. PJ Walker, ladies and gentlemen. God, these guys are tall. Yeah, the attitude, the boost will not be there. Does Deshaun seem more confident? I know it's hard to replicate game speed, but do you see a difference with his confidence? Now, how would you know when there aren't men running at him as fast as possible? And if he makes it through this week, the following weeks, where people will be running after him, hitting him in late, you're going to have Highsmith with a shovel, TJ Watt with a shotgun. And by then, Minka Fitzpatrick will be back. And he'll just have the knife, the shiv that he puts into the side when he's on the ground and say, I didn't do nothing. To me, it's unbelievable. So that's your news. Deshaun Watson will start. How long he'll be in there, God only knows. DeJuan Jones is questionable. I don't have an exact answer on DeJuan Jones, and neither did Gwen Stefanski because he got his days mixed up. As far as I know, DeJuan Johnson was full practice today, but he didn't seem to remember that. Man so big, you think he'd remember. I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked about the whole thing. I want to see if there's something about DeJuan in here. Talked about Cedric Tillman. I would assume that he's going to have a larger role, right, Gwen? He goes, yeah, like we've kind of talked about earlier. He's worked very hard. He's been diligent about learning his assignments. I'm excited for him to get his opportunity, and he'll have more of a role. He'll be in for 3 plays instead of none. Oh, and I forgot to say, he was a healthy scratch the last 3 weeks, even though we claim there was a hip injury. We lied. He was a healthy scratch for 3 fucking weeks so that Donovan Peoples-Jones could stand out there and we had to watch a pigeon shit on his shoulder. Are you getting my drift that I don't give a fuck? Are you getting my drift yet? You hear all this gab and giffle gaffle. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Cedric Tillman shouldn't be fighting with Marquise Goodwin for playing time, for fucking Christ's sake. Marquise Goodwin is a guy who had blood clots, who doesn't run a good pattern, and can only go straight down the field with speed and try to get him around the corner on an end around, all right? He's like an old Elijah Moore who has none of the pattern running capabilities of even Elijah Moore, except probably he knows the playbook a little better. How could Marquise Goodwin and Cedric Tillman, when Cedric Tillman is a young, vital guy who's a 3rd-round pick and Goodwin is coming off of blood clots? How this makes sense? It doesn't to me, because he doesn't catch the ball in the middle of the field. Goodwin doesn't get open. I don't understand. Greg Newsome is the second is out. All right. Because he has another soft tissue injury like they all do. And the Cavaliers. Talk about that in a few minutes. So Cameron Mitchell will be in the game and could be potentially picked on. All right. Who's going to play quarterback for the Cardinals? I asked this of you in the chat room. Head coach of Cardinals isn't saying. Now, personally, I would say Kyler Murray didn't play with the ones yesterday. He did not. Or maybe it was today. I get lost in space. But he was throwing on the side, but he wasn't playing with the ones. Tommy Toon, He was a dancer. Clayton Tune is going to be, is that his name? Is the guy who's up next, so to speak. They did bring a second quarterback onto their roster, and carrying three wouldn't make any sense. I tend to believe that Tune is going to start, but don't be surprised if Kyler Murray's a last minute go just because it's the fucking Browns. And Jonathan Gannon, he's the head coach of the 1-7 Cardinals. I mean, he's not announcing his quarterback yet because he's just playing it close to the vest, you know. I think every Cleveland fan, Double P, believes that it's going to be Kyler Murray, because if it was against any other team, he would not play. But if he's going to spoil our day, it would happen to us. That's the frame of mind we're in, because we get lied to so many times. Yeah. And they ask Gwen, do you really think that Deshaun could make any throw that you need him to make? And the answer to that question has to be no. Because the most important throw would be to throw Stefanski out the fucking door. God damn. And of course, Gwen says, I do. Until after the game. And then I say, I don't. They put up a piece of footage of film. Scott Petrak put up a video of Deshaun throwing a 30-yard pass downfield. And as soon as he was done throwing it, he turned around and went like this with his arm. I'll do it like this. He was shaking out his arm. It's like, no. Not good. Not good at all. So we have Cameron Mitchell in the secondary, and DeJuan Johnson, even though he played a full practice, the head coach is not really sure about what's going to happen. Because how much was DeJuan Jones able to do this week? Is that a game time thing, or do you feel like he's going to be able to go? Yeah, we'll see. I don't know that I figured out yet if we're going to work him out. What do you mean? He was in practice. Hello? McFly. It'll be James Hudson III, if not DeJuan Jones. Just saying. I really loved when they said what the Cardinals are saying about the Browns. It's like, the guy who spoke up, I think it's really great. The first person who spoke up was Froholt. Do you remember him? He was on our team for a little while there. He's the center for the 1-7 Cardinals. We'll see if we can actually do something with him and them. David Bell is out, by the way, his knee, but you can't believe anything you hear. Maybe he's just a healthy scratch too, so that Marquise Goodwin can play. I don't know. The thing is that if Watson were healthy, he actually has some kind of simpatico with Cedric Tillman. But none of the other quarterbacks would, because he's literally been cast asunder like DTR. Everybody's picking the Browns to win. So I'm not going to go through all the picks, like I normally do. They're all picking about a 24-13 Browns win. That's pretty much the deal. Did I mention that I hate the Steelers? Their fans are a bunch of cocksuckers, and Mike Tomlin is basically a bounty hunter. I just wanted to remind you again. This breaking news. Thanks, Ronald. Or maybe I should Mayor McCheese it. Oh, thanks, Ronald. I love Mayor McCheese. Maybe I'll do a whole show like Mayor McCheese. Or maybe that's the voice I should do for Kevin Stefanski. I think he's healthy personally, Ronald. Oh, God. Do make it stop. Thanks, Ronald. We appreciate, even though we knew that. Any news is informative here on Moohead Radio. All bets are off about what the defense is going to look like. We don't know who's going to play quarterback. I would imagine the defense is going to look a damn sight better if it's Clayton Tune. But they're 1-7, and they got nothing to win at this point. Why would they put Kyler Murray on the field if he's not 100%? I mean, that would be a horrible thing. God forbid his knee got hurt when Myles Garrett comes rushing around the end and sacks him. I'm not sure what the situation is. I don't think that they should be in any hurry to play him, but you never know. They may feel that if the Browns see him, they will wet themselves because they'll see P.J. Walker having to come into the game, and the difference between he and Kyler Murray is about an inch, but about this much talent. The Browns signed a tackle, Leroy Watson. Leroy Jenkins. No, Leroy Watson. Tackle. Makes you feel good. Now, I'm going to, any predictions, you can put them up in the chat room. Please feel free. My first prediction is that Mike Tomlin's going to get hit by a car. I'm sorry, it's not a prediction. That's just a wish. My bad. I wouldn't feel bad. Not telling anybody to do it. I wouldn't feel bad. You tell your team to keep doing this shit to people. You're a career wrecker. Anything could happen. And probably anything should. Double P, give us your prediction. My prediction is Cleveland 27-13. That's my prediction. And I'm going to stick with it. That will put us at 5-3. This is an important game. I wanted to point out that it's amongst all the venom and the hate that I'm spewing today. I'm really not a hateful cow. I just don't like the violence of football. And when somebody is telling his team to do it and it's obvious, it just bothers me. I'll be watching the game. You'll be watching the game. And I just hope that Deshaun Watson doesn't get hurt. Just like I hope that Baker Mayfield didn't get worse with his shoulder injury, but he did. Double P has a bad feeling about this. But Ronald Forgus says, no. I don't know, Double P. I don't consider this one the trap game. Might be the crap game, but I don't see this as a trap game. If Clayton Tune whips your ass, but what I was saying, it's an important game. If you do get to 5-3, you've played 8 games, you've got 9 to go, right? It becomes imperative that you win one of your next 2. One's in Cleveland, one's on the road in Baltimore. You're not going to win in Baltimore. And with the Steelers in Cleveland, maybe the crowd will get whipped up enough and we can win that one. That would put us at 6-4 after 10. With 7 games left, if you'd have to go 5-2, basically, 11 wins to guarantee yourself playoffs. I don't know. The back end schedule of the Browns isn't terribly difficult compared to the front end in the middle. So you don't know. But 10 wins, a 10-7 record is not going to be good enough. I have a feeling. So double P say that. Well, then yeah, I mean, if we turn the ball over, yeah, that can happen. Oh, God. Yes, the Cavs playing that dumb in-season tournament that nobody understands. I don't know what it means. I guess all the teams are going to play 80 games this year, and then they're going to play 4 of these silly games with goofy-looking floors. The one we're playing on tonight is like blue and yellow, and it looks like, I don't know, an impressionistic artist vomited all over the floor. But we will have Darius Garland and we will have Jared Allen. Both were at the shoot around, and we're going to see both of them. I'm sure their minutes will be slightly restricted, but it's got to be better than staring at George Niang for long stretches of time. I was afraid that Niang was going to jump out of the television and eat me. There was a guy on Twitter who was saying, get off of Niang's case, with this whole weight thing. He's had that issue his whole career. No, he hasn't. Just look at pictures of him when he was drafted by the Pacers. Look at him. And then after that, he went to Golden State. And look at him. But then he went to Philadelphia. Holy cannoli. 20 pounds, boo. Just like that. Just like that. People will say anything on Twitter. They will lie. They'll make shit up. Niang was not fat in college. He was not fat with the Pacers. He was not fat with the Warriors. But when he came to Cleveland, he'd accepted the fact that he's fat and he's okay with it. He doesn't move fast enough, folks. You want to park him in a corner and get shots? You better have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland in the game, and Jared Allen in the game, and Evan Mobley in the game. You better have people who are going to divert attention, because this guy can't just sneak into the corner because you see him try to run down rebounds, run down loose balls. Oh, God, Sarah! Now, Strus, somebody's bringing up Maxey. Strus at least can do more shit. He can get to the rim if need be. He hustles all the time, and he's perpetual motion. If Niang tried to play that way, he would have a heart attack and die on the court. He's out of shape. Strus is in such great physical condition, he'll run around and run around and run around. It's a matter of finding him, and you got to be able to economize his motion so that he's running to the right places and the open places on the floor. And these players need to get to know one another better because there just hasn't been time. So Strus is a guy hot and cold. He was that way with the Heat. He's been that way with the Cavs. When he's on, man, he's on. If he gets really good looks, he could be very, very dangerous. I'm hoping that's the case with the Cavaliers when we get all of our, not just the players back, but some glue that holds those players together. That would be a really good thing. Wanted to start talking some about the Cavs because they won, and the New York Knicks were acting awfully arrogantly after they beat them in Cleveland. And it's like, what did you accomplish? We didn't. I mean, honestly, Jared Allen is going to get 14 a night, and Darius Garland is going to get 20 a night. That's 34 points. 34 points. And Karis LeVert has been hurt, which he's always hurt. But 34 points you have to make up. You're not going to make that up with George Niang. I mean, you're not going to do that with Ty Jerome and people coming off the bench. It's not going to happen. But, they were proud of themselves. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got their number. Yeah. We are out physical them. So we come into the Garden. And I would imagine that Tom Thibodeau had a stroke. Kind of looks like he already has. He looks like he has rigid person syndrome. He stands like this. Do you see him before players go out on the floor? He fist bumps them and it's like this. Tibbs doesn't move real good. Tibbs, he loves to play injured players too. And it was great reading about what a great job, what a great job George Niang did on Julius Randle. It's like Julius Randle's coming off of arthroscopic ankle surgery last year. And so far this year, he shot 27%. All right. So he shot 22% against the Cavaliers, which is right about where he is this year. What a great job George Niang did. And well, then give everybody credit for doing a great defensive job against Julius Randle. The bottom line is that there's just no preseason anymore. There's no time to get up and running. And Julius Randle will get better than 27%. And that's for sure. But even in his big breakthrough season, like last year, where they were saying great things, he was only a 36% shooter. He can get hot, but boy, he has some bow wow games. So they were arrogant, and we took it to them in a game the Cavaliers had no business winning. It was great for team morale going out to New York and getting a little bit of their luster back after this team said, "Oh, we have their number." It's like, no. Okoro did a good job on Brunson. Okoro's line stats, you'd never know by looking at his line stat, but Brunson was 8 for 23 from the floor, and that's pretty fucking good. You hold him to that. So, Radu, it's absolutely true. He plays people into the ground. You can. I'm really curious to see what Porzingis is going to do for the Celtics, honestly, because he was done no favors to New York. He was hurt all the time, and we'll see if the tempo of play and the minutes that he gets will be a little bit more favorable to his situation. But Thibodeau is been fired more than once, and he'll be fired more again. And people who say, well, he's the savior of the Knicks. Well, if that's their savior, they ain't never going to get saved because he's limited. There's always a problem with the offense with Thibodeau teams. He's all defense, play hard, play long minutes. And if you're hurt, go out there and play some more. Shorten your career for me. Do-da. Tonight's game, God only knows. You've got a team that loves to go up and down the floor. You got Mathurin, who is coming off the bench as a six-man, big scorer. You've got a bunch of guys. Halliburton. Sounds like something the defense department in the country would be dealing with from years ago. He can drill threes. They got some scorers. Miles Turner, he can play and get offensive rebounds and give people trouble underneath. So, Nothing's easy on the road in the NBA, but I'll be curious to see how the Cavs look in their first foray, really, with having their full arsenal on the floor for minutes. I don't know how many minutes, but we'll see. Ronald, Isaiah Mobley, uh, he is what he is, you know. And it's interesting because you could see even that Amani Bates, who is only 19 years old, when he got put on the floor, the first ball he jacked up was an air ball and it was nowhere near the rim. He was overly pumped up over shooting the ball. It's a big deal for a 19-year-old. And Imani Bates is not going to make any kind of a big statement for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year, but Isaiah Mobley's definitely not going to. Slow of foot and doesn't have what he needs to play at the level. It's such an elite game. And meanwhile, LeBron James is the first player in NBA history in his 21st season to score 35 points. Surprise! He's only the best player of all time. That's all. And fans in Cleveland can't even agree on that. It's unbelievable. He gets them a championship. The thing that, million plus people show up to the goddamn thing. Remember? Do you remember that we won a championship? I don't think the fans in Cleveland remember. So I have to remind them of these things. They talk shit about LeBron all the time. Well, LeBron can't do anything for the Lakers because it's amazing that he can still do what he's doing, shooting 50+% from the field and still averaging his usual 25 to 27, 8 and 8 or whatever, 8 and 7 at his age and with as much mileage on his wheels. But I'd take him back in a minute. I mean, do you know that he's due to make $51 million next year? 51 million 1 year. Lakers, there's no future with LeBron James that way. Let's bring him back to Cleveland. What the hell? Not for $51 million. But hey, if we have an opportunity to make a run, could you imagine LeBron at the 3 with Darius and with Donovan? You want to talk about a superstar-laden team that could not be ignored. That'd be amazing. And imagine what he could teach an Imani Bates. Imagine what he could do to give some pride to Jared Allen to work harder. He's business, man. He's not always the easiest guy to deal with, but he's fucking serious about winning. And his commitment cannot be questioned. Nothing he can do for the Lakers. The Lakers just don't have the roster, and his time has come. You can't expect this. They tried to reduce his minutes, and we'll see how long that lasts. And I think 1 game so far it lasted. I mean, but if he plays all the minutes, it will accumulate on his body, and he'll get hurt. He's missed 23 games each of the last 2 years with the Lakers, so he's not indestructible. But I would just love to think of what the possibilities might be if you surrounded these players with a kind of guy who would demand more of them. Hi, Bronk. How are you?
I'm asleep. I was having a nap, and I realized you're on an hour earlier today than you usually are. So then I thought, turned you on. You're talking about, let's have LeBron James back. Why not? Yeah, that'd be good.
I mean,
that'd be a great idea.
What's missing? I mean, we bring in Tristan Thompson, and that was nice. He gave us some nice minutes, but Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson knows the league. He knows this and that, but he's a good buddy on the bench. But, you need a second coach out there. You need somebody who can communicate with the players in players' language. And, we've had in our history, Nate Thurman's that I talk about from when I was young.
Thurman. Wow.
They brought him in What he
He
was
was
really,
90 years old when they brought him in.
but man, he was good for that team. It was no
Yeah.
coincidence that the team started winning because he had, it is no different than all enforcer type guys, whether they're people like Oakley was for the Knicks, or, you'll see guys who come in or at the end of his career. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the Timberwolves. Garrett, is that his name? Garnett. Sorry,
Kevin
Kevin
Garnett.
Garnett. The end of his career, he had so much wisdom to offer, and bringing in an older player, if you have the right number of minutes set for him, it's what he can give. And right now, we need more voice than JB Bickerstaff.
Oh
We
God,
need somebody who could reach the players at a gut level. And I don't know how it's going to work out, but somebody's got to light a fire under Jared Allen's ass. And somebody's got to light a match under Evan Mobley's ass, because they need to work harder. The way you make it in the league. And, it was amazing. Wembanyama went off for 38 points. I don't know if you saw that with the Spurs. And
no.
Oh, this kid's.
I just see the Cleveland games.
This kid's going to be awfully, awfully good. He's like 7'4", and he handles the ball. He shoots threes, and man, he got it going on. 38 points. They had a comeback win. He's real deal stuff if he stays healthy. Problem with all these guys, they're 7'4", but they carry more of their weight up top than they do in their legs.
Feet. Yeah, their feet are going to die.
Yeah. And that, of course, we've seen that with Zion, but this guy is 7'4", for God's sakes. And boy, I want him to stay healthy, because he's going to be a hell of a basketball player. He already is.
Yeah,
Man.
you're making me wonder whether Greg Oden is still alive. He's probably 85 years old by now.
He looks like he's 85, but he's not. He looked like he was 42 when he was in college,
Oh God, yeah. For that, when he was a freshman, he was 42.
Yeah. There is, Double P, no way to guard Wembanyama. I mean, the guy, and his arms are so long. He's got such length.
How long are they?
Oh, I have no idea what his actual reach is, but it's crazy. I've seen him make several blocks this year where he was going in the wrong direction. At the last minute, he turns and leans back and still blocks the shot. That's how long.
That's long. Is that longer than my arm?
Oh, yeah, just slightly. So, the Cavaliers are on at 7:00. If you're interested in watching them, just remember the Bally's app. There's been outage 3 out of the last 4 days, and they're saying we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They've got your fucking money, people.
Oh, are they still in business? Weren't they going to go bankrupt 4 months ago?
But you see, they could, because of the contractual arrangements, they couldn't take this shit away from them. And that's what's wrong with this country, is when they invested so much money into one political party, and guess which one? Yes, the MAGA party. They are able to get away with this crap. Sinclair has been
it's not just America for that matter. It goes on here, but we got our own MAGA party over here. So, yeah, it's not just America that shit happens.
And there's, nobody there who has the technological knowledge to fix the product. And that's the bottom line. Hope the Cavaliers win tonight. I just want to see a fun game so that everybody knows what's going on in Mr. Moohead, the Steeler-hating cows world.
In your world.
In my world.
What's going on in your world?
Well, I mean, the cold weather, we're a little bit out of. Actually, today was like 59, 60 degrees. So it was a beautiful, beautiful day today. But I've gone through the, snow. This is the first time.
Snow?
Oh, yeah, it snowed here. and it's stuck on the ground. I was like,
Yeah, well, all those
uh,
poor woolly bears.
yeah, I know. So here's the plan. We figured it all out, and Rox is healthy now, and we're going to be flying back on the 9th of November, which is just around the corner. We'll be back that
Yeah, a
day.
week.
Yeah, and so I'll be doing the halftime and post game show from my Florida residence, and that's cool. It means there's not going to be a Friday show, but there will be a Monday show. Uh, and I'll make sure that I put up what my predictions are for when we play the Ravens. I think you know what it's going to be,
God,
but
it's the Ravens again.
I know it just
Uh,
doesn't get any easier in the
do we
AFC
have to
North.
play them again? Can't we just say, here's your W. Just don't hurt any of our players. We'll go on to the next week.
Yeah, well, that's about the extent
What's
of
the
it.
fucking point?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've had a great time in Northeast Ohio here, and it's been a bit of work to get this place up and running, but it's
Yeah.
been well worth it. And uh, getting back together with some of my old friends has been more than wonderful. And to be honest with you, the cold weather that came in is a challenge for me because if you didn't know you had arthritis in your back, you
Oh,
you sure as hell know now. Oh yeah, my back's been acting up
Ooh,
like a mother, and but I made it through, and
that's good.
I'm wearing base layers. It's really kind of cool. I wear, two really nice thick base layers, and then I have like a hoodie that goes over that, and I walk around walking the dog, looking scowling like Bill Belichick, and it keeps me warm,
Is that
So
grumpy Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, huh?
yeah, fucking Bill
Uh,
Belichick. So what I'm doing is, and it's been great because I'm not getting a winter coat because I never expected to be here during the winter, but I'm gonna get a coat uh, by the time I get back here. But I want it to be the right size because I'm losing weight really rapidly
oh,
here.
right. Yeah. Okay.
I have a fucking tapeworm.
What? No.
No,
Are
I
you
don't.
serious?
No, I'm not serious. Am I ever serious? No,
Occasionally.
I'm
People die. Sometimes serious.
tapeworm.
Tapeworm.
Yeah. So, but hey, 28 pounds down. It's good.
You want to be
Uh,
careful with that weight loss, though, because people do have issues with weight loss and then other
well,
health problems. So,
I mean, I'll tell you this. This is not something that I'm doing that's cuckoo crazy. This is not starvation or anything like that.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You know where I'm going with it, though.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
You just want to be careful, isn't it?
You don't want to be yo-yoing either.
Yeah.
So yeah, but by the time, so put it in perspective, yeah, I'll be 5.5, 6 months in Florida, and then I come back here. In 6 months' time, I will have lost more weight so that I'll have whatever my final size is, so I can get a coat. In case we're here. You never know what's going to happen, and we learned that with rocks. She
Yeah.
had a pulmonary embolism. You never know what's going to happen until it happens. So,
Well, at some point, you may just want to have one house somewhere, just so that you don't have the hassle of worrying about two properties.
well, but that's
You know?
all part of this whole thing because Florida is. I've been there for 23 plus years, and the cost of living is going through the roof there.
Well,
And
yeah, there's hurricanes and sinkholes and God
yeah,
knows what. Yeah.
lots of fun stuff. Yeah. But I'll be honest with you. I'm not ready to go through an entire winter here in Northeast Ohio. I'm not ready for it. And I would rather live my life in a more fiscally conservative way and have two places than be stuck in one place where there's going to be X number of months where I'm going to be really hurting. That wouldn't make sense to me right now. Maybe at some point things will change. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's been great. I mean, people around here have been very nice. The neighborhood's been great. Got to meet some great people here that I've never known before, and others that I've just reconnected with. It's been very nice, and going to be here, like I said, until Thursday, and then we'll be back in Florida and doing it all over again. So,
well, I'll go back and listen to what you said about last night's game, but I did, because I was awake and doing things, I did catch a fair bit of it.
Yeah.
And what it seemed to me was that the referees would go on these sprees of calling flags against one team, and then suddenly they would change and start calling flags on another team. And it was quite disturbing. And I thought the whole purpose of that shenanigans was just to keep the game close so that you kept people on Amazon Prime watching it. And sure enough, the game ends up, changing hands, 2 minutes to go, and the Steelers win, yada, yada, yada. And everybody was still watching it. But that first quarter where they were just calling penalties willy-nilly on the Steelers, willing Tennessee to drive down the field and get points, and they only ended up with a field goal.
Yeah, but I mean,
the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, except the thing is that Pittsburgh was pulling on people's face masks and was hitting people late and was doing things, and
that's what they always do, and they never call it against us.
That's the point. The point is, the more you give them the opportunity, they will continue to do it because they'd rather have 100 to 120 yards in penalties and hurt the other team and have 3 offensive linemen injured for the Titans. They would rather do that, right, than play the game straight up based on skill, because they don't have any. Kenny Pickett blows. He blows.
He's bad.
Monkey spunk. He sucks.
He is bad.
Najee Harris can't, you could blow open a hole with dynamite and he wouldn't find it. They're not good. I mean, I think Pickens, he has an attitude.
Pickens is a typical wide receiver, really talented, but really crazy.
Yeah, he's got an attitude, and the more success he has, the harder he's going to be to handle.
Yeah, he's going to be done in about 2 years just from being a mental pop ball. But yeah, it was a strange game, but I always knew the Steelers were going to win. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's same ending all the time. So at any rate, I'm going to get out of here, Bronk. I'm glad you showed up, and I want to remind everybody that when you go to bed on Saturday, set your clock back an hour.
Yeah, your clock's changed back, so we're back to the normal spread between England and America. So this Cavs game, is it an hour away? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I'm still half asleep.
Yeah, it starts at 7:00. So yeah.
Okay, so 7. That's okay. That's 11 o'clock my time there. So yeah, it's an hour away.
And I'm looking forward to turning the clocks back. I get an extra hour of sleep that way. I'm walking the dog.
Great. It is great.
Weather. Yeah, but that'll get me ready for Sunday. So that's kind of cool. All right, Bronk. Thanks a lot for showing up, and don't stay up too late. All right. And thanks everybody for. Go ahead.
Well, who do the Cavs playing?
The Indiana Pacers.
Oh God, them again. Oh, I hate them.
We know what they do. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But thanks to everybody for supporting the program. You know that I appreciate each and every one of you, even if we have different opinions. Different opinions are what makes the world go round. Thanks for support, and I'll be back with you again Sunday at halftime and post game after the game. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.